All right, guys, back to work. Back to work. Here we go. CPI coming in tomorrow morning. Now, we're expecting a lot of volatility around that big CPI report on Thursday morning. It is very easy to overthink the game plan for tomorrow. But tonight, we're going to go over a very simple roadmap to make money tomorrow, no matter what the news is or how the market reacts to it. So take some screenshots, take some notes, and let's make some money on CPI Thursday. Now, if you're joining in for the first time, if you're watching for the first time right now, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I don't want you to miss tomorrow night's video, so make sure you subscribe. And if you like these lessons, if you enjoy these videos, hit that like button for me. Give me a shout out down in the comment section. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a fantastic week, but enough of the intro, Joe. Let's go make some money on CPI Thursday. Now, starting off tonight on the 60-minute time frames, I got the NASDAQ and the triple Qs. Oh, I got the E-mini and the SPY in front of me tonight. What are the 60-minute time frames telling us right now? Well, on the E-mini S&P, buyers are still rotating. Not a lot different from last night's video. Buyers are still rotating off the low of that trading range. Buyers in full control right now on the E-mini S&P. And again, NASDAQ, if you watched last night's video, got that beautiful breakout pullback. And now it's all hands on deck trying to make that run back up to take out those highs. Buyers have all the control of momentum on the higher time frame. And later on in the video tonight, we're going to drill down to some tick charts and talk about the specific entry tactics. That way you guys are ready for the game plan for tomorrow. Now, before we jump into those tick charts, before we dive in and talk about entry tactics, you guys are ready for tomorrow. Let's double check the schedule for tomorrow. There are two things you want to be aware of for tomorrow. The first one, of course, is the big news of the week. Arguably the big news of the month is that CPI report tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern Time. Everybody wants to know when the Fed is going to start cutting rates, and that CPI report is probably going to be the first domino that sets that all into motion tomorrow. That is the big news for tomorrow. Now, what do we always say on these videos? News is irrelevant. We know when the news is, but your job tomorrow is resist the temptation to overanalyze that news. Ignore the news and trade the reaction. Ignore the news and trade the reaction. We know when it is. We'll trade the reaction tomorrow in our trade room. So don't overthink that news report tomorrow morning. The second thing I want to be aware of is there'll be no video newsletter tomorrow night. I'll be with you guys tomorrow in the trade room, but I won't be here tomorrow afternoon. Unfortunately, my wife Megan's having surgery tomorrow afternoon. She specifically wanted me to tell you she apologizes for taking us away from the charts tomorrow night, but not to worry. We'll come back next week and resume our schedule. So no video newsletter tomorrow night, and if you would, please keep my wife Megan in your prayers tomorrow for a speedy recovery. So keep that in mind. CPI report tomorrow. Again, don't overthink that news. I'm going to give you guys an easy game plan tonight in the video. We'll trade the reaction. Again, no video newsletter tomorrow night. Now back to our charts though. We know when the news is, but again, the money is made on the charts, trading the reaction. Let's now cover my favorite trades here for tomorrow, starting off tonight on the E-mini S&P, and we'll wrap tonight up on the NASDAQ and the triple Qs. As I mentioned in the introduction, not a lot has changed in the last 24 hours. The S&P, of course, is bullish into a trading range. We rotate up, we rotate down, and now the buyers are trying to punch their ticket and take out that high. One thing we do notice on the S&P right now, unlike the NASDAQ, is the S&P is certainly running into some big-time levels of resistance. So we know we're bullish right now. My goal tomorrow is to buy the dips. You know, we all know this, right? When to buy low, buy the dips, no matter what direction the market goes tomorrow. My goal will be to buy the dips. Let's now drill down to some tick charts. I like to use tick charts in our trade room because I think tick charts make entries a lot easier. This, of course, is a 7,000 tick chart, upper left-hand corner. And if you're watching for the first time right now, that is the 21 EMA. There are two really important clues on this E-mini tick chart right now. One of them is the strength of that move going higher. Anytime we see a strong move going higher, what do we expect? Strong move up, two-legged pullback, and a retest of that high. Strong move up, two-legged pullback and a retest of that high. If you're taking my free video classes, if you're with me in the trade room each day, we see a lot of these. Strong move up, two-legged pullback, and a retest of that high. The second clue, if you watched last night's video, is that previous trading range. Everybody now is waiting for that breakout pullback that we talked about in last night's video, and we definitely have some pullback opportunities on our radar here for tomorrow. Now, like I mentioned earlier, we have big news tomorrow morning, 8:30 Eastern time, and we expect a lot of volatility around that news. I have a bunch of trade setups I'm tracking for us going higher. I have quite a few good setups I'm tracking if we go lower. Why don't we go over the pullback here first? That's what everybody wants right now. Let's cover, I've got 3 ways to trade this on the pullback lower, and then later on in the video tonight, I'm going to talk about going higher. There's some easy money to make going higher, but it's also very easy to lose money if you're not prepared. So make sure you watch the entire video tonight, and we'll talk about both directions that you guys are locked and loaded to make some money here for tomorrow. Now, going lower, I want to buy a pullback. Again, we know we've got that strong run. We're looking for that two-legged pullback and that retest. But with that big news for tomorrow, we have to expect a lot of volatility and jumpy price action. So if we do get that strong two-legged pullback here, what I'm looking for is to trap in those sellers with a bear trap. Remember, we do not pick tops and bottoms. Trying to pick the bottom of that pullback is a rookie mistake. I don't know how far this pullback will go. I know where I'd like it to go, but the market tomorrow morning may go even deeper. In order to time the perfect entry, I'm not going to pick that bottom. I'm going to wait to get down around these key support levels and look for this very simple pattern. Strong move down, bears sell short once, bears sell short twice, and we'll try to use their stops to fuel that move going higher. Notice how I draw this pattern. It's a higher high in price and a trap right below that low. We're going to buy bear traps off levels of support. Now, if you're in my free video classes right now, this is that trap setup we teach, the 4th setup in the price action cycle. So keep that on your radar. And again, it may be all the way down here, right? 1 try for the bears, 2 try for the bears. I don't know how far that pullback will go. Nobody does, especially with CPI report tomorrow morning. So let those bears chase it. Let them try once, let them try twice, get that bear trap and squeeze those stops and run back higher. Now, this is the ideal entry. There's a lot of variations of these pullbacks. For example, sometimes we get V bottoms off of these support levels, right? We'd love to get that two-legged pullback. I would love to trap those bears in and use those stops to fuel the move back up. We may not get it though. We may boing right off that low and get that V bottom. V bottoms can be very difficult because I want to buy low, but oftentimes there's so many buyers down there, it just slingshots right back higher and starts to grind and go higher like this. Now, if you're anything like me, what happens is when it begins to grind back higher, my monkey brain starts saying, come on, man, get in, you're missing it. Do not chase this move going higher. Remember, we have to buy the dips, buy as low as we can. On a V bottom scenario, I'm going to mark a trend line off those highs. I'm going to bring that trend line down off that low, look left, find prior swing lows, and the best money is made on that first test off the low of that channel. And this could be any of the entry patterns you guys are learning in the free trading course. It could be a bear trap, like I'm showing right here. It could be a seller failure pattern. It could be a pullback combination, a strength move on the way back up to retest those highs. So keep that variation in the back of your mind for tomorrow with that V bottom. And then one of my favorite trades, we may get that strong run down with that news tomorrow morning. The bears may come in and they may whack this thing and retest that low. Good. This is even better for us because now Think about what happens down here. What happens on a retest of that low? Remember, anytime we see a strong move in one direction, we expect a pullback and a retest, right? We get a strong move in one direction, a pullback and a retest. Doesn't matter what direction it is. If we go strong move down, expect that pullback, expect them to try to retest. And if they do, now think about who's trading down here. What's happening down there? Well, first of all the sellers who sold short on that pullback, where would they take their profit? Yeah, they'll take a big chunk of their profit off where? Right at that low. So now who's trading now? Rookies. These are not professionals. Rookies will come in and watch closely. I want to use a try failure. It doesn't need to be a bear trap. It can be a failure pattern like I teach in the video course. Trap those rookies in and use their stops. Hit their pain by right into those stop losses. Now watch closely. Watch closely because these will oftentimes snap and run higher. I want to buy as low as I can as we make our way back up to that high. And to do that, I'm going to buy a bear trap. I call these double bottom retests one of my favorite trades in our trade room. We have a lot of examples of these in our free video class. Again, strong run down. The bears get short on the pullback. They retest the low. In come the rookies. They try once, they try twice. We squeeze their stops with failure patterns, and then as it runs high, we buy low with those bear traps. It's a higher high in price and a trap below that low. I love that pattern, and if the trading gods are watching down on us tonight, we'll get something like that tomorrow morning in the trade room. Now, let's slow it down for a second. If you're watching for the first time right now, this might be way over your head. This might be a brand new language for you. Bear traps, failures, rotation, two-legged pullbacks. What the heck does all this stuff mean? But don't you worry. I teach all these entry patterns, and I have hundreds of examples of failures and trap patterns, all linked up included in our free video classes. What I'll do is I'll put a link up here for you. Upper right-hand corner, grab that little information button that popped up there and take that free trading course, because the strategy I teach in that short video series will teach you a simple trick we use in our members trade room to know exactly where the best winning trades are going to be each day. And more importantly, I'll teach you 4 of my favorite entry patterns to help you start making money on your own. The markets are way too good right now to be not making consistent money. If you're missing good trades, if you're struggling with too many losses, if you're trying to qualify for a funded account with Top Step or Apex, take that free course. It will give you a simple roadmap to find lots of winning trades. And also be aware too, if you can't grab the link up top there, I'll put all the important links I talk about tonight in the description of the YouTube video. I'll put the free class links. I'll put my trade room membership links. And also too, I'm on Twitter all the time during the day. If you're on Twitter, give me a follow. The Twitter handle in the description of the YouTube video as well. All right, so grab that link and you will thank me. It will make it very much easier for you to find winning trades each day. So now I think we have a pretty good game plan if we go lower. But now let's see what happens if we go higher. Now going higher, you have to understand, we oftentimes get good news, and what happens is we get a big reversal, right? There's an old saying, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news. So one thing very important for tomorrow is do not let your opinion about this news impact how you trade. Let's grab some NASDAQ right now, and we'll talk more about what I mean by that. The NASDAQ's pretty simple, right? NASDAQ has that range back here. We've been talking about this for a couple days this week. They break out of that trading range here in the 60-minute, that beautiful breakout pullback, and now it's all on going back up to retest the high. Now, one thing the NASDAQ doesn't have to worry about is the NASDAQ has plenty of open space up here. We can be a little bit more aggressive on the NASDAQ than we can be on the S&P, because the S&P is already running into that overhead level of resistance. Let's now go look at the tick chart here. Now, there are 2 very specific clues on this NASDAQ chart. One, of course, is the strength of that move going higher. Anytime I see a strong move in one direction, I expect a 2-legged pullback and a retest of that level. I just went over the entire game plan on that. On the S&P, it can virtually be the exact same game plan on the NASDAQ. And of course, we love that game plan because there's that previous trading range. If you watched last night's video, you know that we love those breakouts and those pullbacks back up again. So I think the hardest way to make money tomorrow is if we do go higher. I'm going to try to keep things as simple as possible, but the reality is the markets are complicated. There's a lot of different ways to trade this stuff, so bear with me. I want to keep it as simple as we can, but as you can see, I've quite a few different setups I'm tracking here as we go higher. So let's get into it. We have plenty of space overhead on the NASDAQ. So if we do go higher, I want to buy as low as I can, right? I want to buy as low as possible, right? Always, right? I want to buy low. And to do that, we always look for one pattern. There's always one pattern when the market races higher on strength. It's called a bear trap. It's a higher high in price and a trap, right? A move right below that prior swing. Now, this will usually be just a little bit below the 21 EMA. Look right there. That's what it looks like. Okay, it's a strong run up. It pulls back, goes higher, and so they come in right below that low, and bam, that is a bear trap. Tell you, that's where the money is, right? A lot of easy money to be made on a strong breakout going higher. So keep that on your radar if the news reacts bullishly. And again, be very careful tomorrow because we may see what appears to be a very bullish report, but we may get a reversal. I have a very simple reversal game plan off the high here for tomorrow as well. So bear traps on strength. Now, if the market races higher, we may get that bear trap going higher. What's the problem now? I don't want to buy way up here, right? I don't want to buy high. I don't want to chase it. Great spot for profit targets, right? Great spot for profit targets, but I don't want to buy up here. Whenever we have a big, strong move in one direction, what do we look for? We look for a two-legged pullback. If you're a student of mine, if you're with me in the trade room, I call these 1, 2, 3 moves, right? So if you're a student of mine, look for a 1, 2, 3 move off the high. For the rest of us, we call them two-legged pullbacks. Now remember, in the free video course, I talk a lot about what we call measured moves, right? Or ABCD patterns, symmetry patterns, right? They're pretty simple patterns. The most important thing, though, is if we get this really strong run higher, we don't want to buy high. We want to buy low. So watch closely. Get underneath that moving average. And I want you to think about what a measured move looks like. So one leg, two leg, it'll be just a little bit below that measured move, a little bit below that 100. Now, I don't have a crystal ball for tomorrow. I don't know how far this thing will go, and I don't know how big that first leg is. But I do know that this is a scenario I'm looking for on that pullback. Strong run up, two-legged pullback, and a retest of that high. And think about what we talked about earlier, right? If I get that strong run higher, get that two-legged pullback now, this two-legged pullback could be very, very aggressive, right? Could be very, very aggressive. What do we do here? As it pulls back, don't pick the bottom. I have no idea where that low will go. It may keep going. Nobody knows how far that pullback will be. What I do know, though, is once we start getting around that measured move, that's where I want to start looking for a bear trap to get in. I don't know if it'll keep on going. What I do know, though, is if on the pullback, if we see those bears try once, if those bears try twice, I'm going to look for that bear trap entry off of that low and try to get long going back up to retest the high. Once again, look at that pattern. It's a higher high in price and what I call a trap below that low. Now, the reason why you want that bear trap entry is because we may see something like this. We may run up, we may get that one two-legged pullback, and the strength of that move might be so strong that as it pulls back, the bears may come in and whack it and run it lower. This is where that double bottom retest comes in. It's the same game plan before, right? The bears who sold short right here, they're going to probably take the chunk of their profit off at that low, and this is where we can now come in and get some rookies trapped in, right? Professionals are not going to sell low, right? The pros are not going to sell low right there. These are rookies coming in, and rookies have small accounts, they have tight stops, and they won't be able to defend themselves. So once those bears try once and the bears try twice, remember, for all I know, it'll keep going lower, right? We're not picking that bottom. I'm not blindly buying that bottom. Stop trying to be precise on those double bottoms. Let those bears try a couple times and light those stops up. Squeeze those stops. As my first mentor always said, where is there pain? Buy right into where, if you were short, where your pain would be, where your stop would be. Now, at that point, where does the market want to go? It wants to go back up and take out that high. That's what markets do. They make strong runs up, they make two-legged pullbacks, and they retest that high. How do I get in up here? I get a bear trap getting in, right? Bear trap, a higher high in price, just like that pattern right there, right? Higher high in price and a little trap right below that low. Leave that runner up around that high. Again, these are double bottoms. All it is, it's a strong move down. The bears come in, they sell short, they retest that low. The rookies start chasing after it. They're getting in too late. Gotcha. Run those stops with a failure pattern. Again, I call these 2-try failure patterns in the free video course. Then as we're going higher high in price, that bear trap entry, and then ring that bell up around that high here. Now, couple more variations up here, okay? This is where things get a little more difficult, all right? So make sure you pay attention. Oftentimes, in a bull market overall, remember, we're not bearish overall, we're bullish overall. Oftentimes what happens is when we get news comes out, it'll pop up and begin to grind. Now, we talked about this earlier, right? We talked about this earlier, so you should probably have a good understanding of this already. Very common in an overall bull market. If it pops up and begins to grind, watch closely. We'll draw a trend line off those highs. We're going to pin that trend line down around those lows. And what do? We look left, we find prior swings, and we want to get in off that first test off of that low. Okay, now just keep a mind on this, right? Because as we pull back, we're going to wind up underneath that moving average. Don't pick the bottom. Let those bears try a couple times and use that failure into bear trap combination pattern I keep talking about. Keep using those bear traps to buy as low as you possibly can. Now, really quickly here, pay attention here now. The size of that pop. Okay, this is very, very important. On a pop and grind breakout higher, the size of that pop leg is the measuring leg. Okay, repeat after me. The first leg is the measuring leg. First leg is the measuring leg. Why do I care about that? Because the easiest way to make more money is not to trade more often. Don't trade more often. Get better at holding your trades to their final objective. Pop and grind channels are really, really easy to make money with because once you find the entry off the low, then you know where the market wants to go because once you know how big that pop leg is, then you know you can pin it off that low and use that now to take that final profit target. And sometimes these pop legs are huge, right? And they'll pop up and grind like that. Same thing. Mark off that high, mark off that low. Now, if it's something like this, look for that two-legged pullback, right? Get underneath the moving average. Think about that measured move, a bit more than a measured move. That will give you the general location. And then as we pull back, trap those bears in, squeeze those stops, failure, pullback combination, back to retest the high, right? Back to retest the high. And then again, measure the size of that pop leg, pop that right up, and bingo, that will give you an easy big picture target. And I don't care what it takes, whether it's handcuffs or duct tape. If you have to leave your office and go for a walk, let that thing run, right? Do not let yourself talk yourself out of that runner. Remember, first leg is the measuring leg on those pop and grinds. And one thing to finish up tonight is a reversal. Remember I said earlier, we often get You probably have heard this before. Buy the rumor and sell the news. It would not surprise me at all if we saw a very bullish number, a low CPI tomorrow that triggers the assumption we're going to be cutting rates in the first quarter of this year. We may get a very good number tomorrow and the market may go up and snap right back down again. Be prepared for that. Be prepared for that. Now, it's almost impossible to pick the top on these. So I'm not going to waste my time and talk about a pick the top. My goal is if we do get that V top and we start rolling lower, you know how to do this, right? I'm going to mark off that low. I'm going to mark off that high and go look left and find that first test off the high of that channel. These are very lucrative trades when you get them. The key will be we'll snap up, we'll snap right back down, and we're going to grind. In this case now, again, mark off that low. Do not chase it going lower. Again, that monkey brain of ours is going to try to force you to get in on that short. Do not chase this thing going lower. What happens is as the market goes lower, everybody who sold short up here takes their profit. And so trying to sell down here, you're selling when professionals are getting out and taking profit. You're basically selling when professionals are buying. You're taking the opposite side of their trade. Wait for that pop up. Wait for the market to pop up. And again, use any of the entry patterns you guys are learning in the free video course. I love bull traps like this one. It could be a bull trap like that. Get above the moving average. Buyers come in, try to buy that pullback. Once they get long, right, we then look for that failure into pullback combination running lower. And then once again, think about that two-legged pullback we talked about earlier. There's one leg, right? There's two legs. Think about that two-legged pullback, right? We go up. Think about that measured move. One leg, two leg, a little bit more than that measured move. That's where you want to be thinking about now, where that target goes. And then also think about now looking for that long going higher. So again, we pop up, we snap back, we grind down, right? Reversal off of that high. We find that channel. We hit that first test is the best test off the high and make that run going lower. Where do you think the market wants to go? Probably back into that range for that breakout pullback off that trading range. Probably going to be roughly about a measured move, a bit more than a measured move going lower, right? Again, if you want to make more money, get better at holding on to a little piece of the position to leave it as a runner. And then what do we do down here? What's the game plan down there? You know the game plan, right? The game plan now is pretty simple. We're getting that deep pullback now. Remember, don't pick that bottom. Bear trap, baby. Bear trap. Bears try once. Bears try twice. You want to buy, right? You want to buy as low as you can. You want to buy as low as you can down here. Why? Why? Because whenever we see a strong move down, what do the bears want? They want to pull it back and retest that low, right? So you want to buy as low as you possibly can right there, because what's going to happen is we may wind up going right back into these key areas of resistance. We may retest that low. There's that double bottom reversal. In this case, it's a two-try failure, and then back up. We simply execute that double bottom retest game plan we talked about earlier. All right, and again, I apologize. I know it's a bit more complicated on the reversal. I'm doing my best to keep things as simple as possible. Hopefully this is all making sense. And by the way, if it is making sense, give me a shout out down in the comment section. Give me a hell yeah. Give me a hashtag light bulb down in the comment section below. Hopefully this is all making sense here for you. So remember, be very careful overthinking that news tomorrow morning. Trade the reaction to that news. The game plan's pretty simple. If we go lower, we've got a pretty easy roadmap to make money. If we go lower, if we go higher, we've got that bull trap, got that breakout pullback, we got that pop and grind. And if it does V-top and reverse, we might get lucky tomorrow, get some nice shorts to the high, and buy it right back up off that two-legged pullback off the high. All right, guys? That's the roadmap for tomorrow. But you know what's going to happen. You know tomorrow's news is going to throw us some curveballs. There'll be something we didn't anticipate tonight. That's why we have the trade room tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time. I can't think of any better place to come out and learn this stuff than to come out and trade along with me every morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time. You will love our members trade room. I'll put all the important links again. Like I said earlier, I'll put the free class links. I'll put the membership links. I'll put my Twitter feed links in the description of the YouTube video. If you have any questions, any trouble getting into our free video classes, or any questions about anything we talked about tonight on the video, please don't be a stranger. I'm always here to help out. So call or email or use live chat if you want help along the way. Boy, I'll tell you, a fantastic week so far. big day tomorrow. The game plan is ready. Now we get a good night's sleep, come back tomorrow morning, wait and see when that number comes out, and trade the reaction tomorrow morning. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you're watching this video still right now, you are the person I do these videos for. So thank you so much for sticking around all the way to the end. Now get out of here. Enjoy your evening. I will not be back tomorrow night. Unfortunately, we'll come back on Monday night, but I will see you guys tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time in the trade room. In the meantime, be well, be nice to each other, make some money out there tomorrow, and I'll see you guys same time, same place on Monday evening. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.